There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out.
And she just wall bangs me.
Haven't seen you in seasons,
I would love to see gameplay.
but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line.
That was you.
'Cause I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been fighting ways to get away, to see you again.
Thank you.
Spike down mid.
We got millions of reasons to let it all go.
One enemy remaining.
Hope we're not too broken.
Spike down.
I know